Welcome to the next prophecy update. Today's going to be kind of quick because I do have a warning from a Russian scientist about a potential mega quake. But before we get into that, as most of you know, the world and its weather is going crazy. A scientist said that we will have a new planet in our solar system by 2012, which would cause unimaginable weather changes worldwide. And then a couple months back, there was an article posted about how the sun came up 2 days early in Greenland, which was a completely unprecedented event that stunned and shocked the scientists. And then recently, there was that article about there being a possible 2 suns in the sky by 2012 caused by a supernova, which could literally make it so we will not have nightfall or darkness for weeks. And to make matters even more weird, in more recent events, last week we saw that China reported seeing 2 suns in the sky. And now, as most of you know, they're getting hit with some bad earthquakes. Anyways, with all that being said, it's obvious that we are witnessing some insane earth changes. March megaquake warning issued for the United States. Now this article is from March 10th. A new report released today in the Kremlin, prepared for the Prime Minister Putin by the Institute of Physics of the Earth in Moscow, is warning that the Americas are in danger of suffering a mega quake of catastrophic proportions during the next fortnight, 14 days, with a specific emphasis being placed on the United States, Mexico, Central America, South America, the West Coast regions, along the new Madrid fault zone. When the new Madrid earthquake occurs, it is going to be a catastrophic event, as it would affect many states, and it would change the USA forever. Raising the concerns of a megaquake occurring, this report says, are the increasing subtle electromagnetic signals that are being detected in the Earth's upper atmosphere over the many regions of the world, with the most intense being over the U.S. western, coastal, and Midwest regions. It's important to note that Russian and British scientists are at the forefront of predicting earthquakes based on these subtle electromagnetic signals. Ken Ring predicted the deadly Christchurch quake and issued another warning of a quake to hit on or about March 20th. The mention in this report of massive low-pressure systems being associated with the catastrophic earthquakes is especially dire to the United States Midwestern region, which even today is continuing to be pounded by horrific rainfalls, and most especially impacting the new Madrid fault zone in Arkansas, which has suffered over 800 earthquakes in the past 6 months alone. Also in this warning, the fault-riddled state of California may be about to suffer its most catastrophic earthquake in decades, as new reports for this region show the mass death of millions of fish is now occurring, just like the mass stranding of whales on the New Zealand beaches days prior to the February 22nd destruction of Christchurch. Making the situation for our planet even more grimmer are the reports that our sun is continuing to spew forth massive solar flares, the latest warned to hit our Earth today or tomorrow. Major solar flare erupts may make auroras visible in northern U.S. The sun unleashed another major solar flare Wednesday, March 9th, a solar storm so powerful it could spawn dazzling northern light displays that could be visible from even New York City. The solar flare erupted at 6:23 p.m., letting loose a wave of charged particles that is aimed straight at Earth and could arrive in the next few days. The flare can make the northern lights visible as far south as Washington State, central Idaho, northern Wyoming, the Dakotas, and east Chicago, Detroit, New York, and Boston. The megastorm is registered as one of the most powerful types of flares. In addition to the radiation, solar flares can kick up massive eruptions of charged particles. After 4 years without any X-flares, the sun has produced 2 of the most powerful blasts in less than 1 month. When aimed in Earth's direction, strong solar flares can potentially disrupt satellites and power grids. I think a lot of what we are seeing today has to do with some sort of pole shift happening. I mean, when you look on the mainline news, they're going to tell you, oh, it's been doing that for, I don't know, hundreds of years, and it will snap back and it'll become normal again. But what we are seeing is it's rapidly changing. It's not, the smooth transition has ended, and now it's kind of going into hyperdrive. I mean, you can't really listen to the mainline news. They're telling us that there's no increase in earthquakes and that sinkholes are a normal natural phenomenon and everything's just natural and normal. Sit tight and relax, when there's obviously tremendous earth changes taking place before our eyes. Will March 19th supermoon trigger natural disasters? On March 19th, the moon will swing around the Earth more closely than it has in the past 18 years. On top of that, it will be full, and an astrologer believes it could inflict massive damage on the planet. Huge storms, earthquakes, volcanoes, and other natural disasters can be expected to wreak havoc on the Earth. But it should be noted that astrology is not real science. Now, as most of you know, there is a comet that is heading towards Earth. Now, it doesn't really matter if it hits Earth, despite popular opinion. What matters is if it gets close enough to disrupt the Earth in some way, which can potentially cause mass earthquakes, mass storms, etc. Between March 13th and the 15th, this comet is supposed to align with the Sun and the Earth. And when it does that, it's very likely that we will see some pretty bad storms. So be watching for that as well. We have Russian scientists warning that a mega earthquake could hit in the next 14 days. Then we have a comet that is going to be aligned with Earth around March 15th that could also cause earthquakes or other natural disasters. Along with that, we have a supermoon that is on March 19th, which once again could cause major catastrophic natural disasters. And to follow that up, we have these northern lights that are appearing in the United States. So when you put all this together, it definitely looks like March is not going to be the season of calm weather. Now, some of you might be thinking, if there was a natural disaster that was imminent in the United States of America, wouldn't they warn us beforehand? That is a valid thought. Here is a video released a couple years ago.
So while we all went about our lives yesterday, we came very close to a catastrophic event here on planet Earth, and we didn't know about it. So while we all went about our lives yesterday, we came very close to a catastrophic event here on planet Earth, and we didn't know about it. It turns out we just missed getting hit by an asteroid, a piece of solid rock, roughly the size of a 10-story building. Now, I say just missed because it came within 45,000 miles of us. That's a lot closer than the moon is, and scientists say way too close for something that big. Had it struck, again, the people who tell us about these things, say the impact could have had the force of 1,000 Hiroshima-strength atomic bombs over a huge area of the Earth.
The video speaks for itself. If something catastrophic is indeed ever going to happen, the likelihood of us getting a warning beforehand by the media is slim to none.
So even if nothing happened within these days predicted, one cannot deny the massive world changes that are taking place. One cannot deny that earthquakes are on the rise, and we are seeing bizarre and strange things happening. And with that, I personally feel that we will see a mega quake in the U.S. in 2011. We all need to be praying and really seeking the Lord in these times, because He is the only one that can guide us and instruct us on what we are to do.